Hello everyone, good morning, and my name is Brandon. Today I would like to share with you how much screen time is too much for young children. So first of all, I'd like to ask all of you, can you recall what are the screens that you all watch when you are young? For me, I have only one type of screen when I was young, which is those big televisions. I believe all of the friends and people who are listening to this presentation also have very limited screens during their time. But today, in this privileged era, all of our children have screens as small as smartphones to even tablets and also televisions as well. But we all know that prolonged screen time for children is actually posing a risk for them. So here comes the question, how much screen time is too much for them? First of all, I would like to show you a statistic. This statistic shows a very favorite platform for children on the internet, which is the YouTube. YouTube provides videos for children to watch them. And 89% of parents with 5 to 11 years old have admitted allowing their children to watch YouTube. This goes for 81% for 2 years old and below, and 57% for 3 to 4 years old children. As you can see, a lot of times watching screens is actually being caused by parents and the children as well. Both of them have the same responsibility. Now, let's look at another example. This is a very famous YouTube video, and I believe everyone knows this video. It is the Baby Shark song. Why this Baby Shark song is so popular until it reaches 10 plus billion views? It's because this kind of YouTube videos is so attractive for children. They have lots of animations, they have songs that is so interesting, and they even have children dancing in the video. That makes it a very successful YouTube video. So now we all know that videos are so attractive for children. Let us see and understand how children love this video so much. It's actually due to something happening in our brain. And this is called the dopamine pathway. I believe everyone has heard this word dopamine before. Dopamine is a type of hormone being associated with rewards, which means that when this dopamine is being released into the brain, it allows you to feel good when you receive the reward. Now, it applies to the same concept as watching screens. When children watch screens, this dopamine will be released into their brain and it will feel good because they have received the reward of watching screens. Now, we have understand that actually dopamine is the cause of letting them love watching screens so much. Let us look at one of the theory being suggested by Skinner. So Skinner has suggested this variable reward schedules theory. And what he says, he actually gave an example. He used the experiment of mice, and then he provides some rewards, mostly in food, at random times. Meaning, it does not give the rewards or the food in a particular fixed schedule. It gives at random time. For example, at 3 p.m. it gives one food, and then at 5 p.m. it gives another food. And what he found is very shocking because these mice have increased frequency in checking on the rewards. Meaning, if it's given at a random time, it will want to go back to check whether there's any reward over there, even frequently. Now, this concept also applies to humans. When humans are given at a random time of watching screens, for example, checking your Instagram, Facebook, or even watching videos like children's, we have a tendency to, to check on our screens even frequently. And a lot of times, this model is the process of addiction. We get addicted because we want to keep checking back on our phones so that we can get that dopamine release in our brain and feel good about it. Now, when you watch screens and allow this dopamine to be released for a long time in your brains, we call it a dopamine rush. This often happens in young children because children are allowed to have their independent screen time with no time limit. Now, how to really feel and experience this dopamine rush that I'm talking about? You can relate it to as a sugar addiction. So there's one person named Rafi Jacobs who actually made this analogy, the sugar addiction and dopamine rush. She tells us that when you have a dopamine rush, it actually makes you want to crave the reward even more. If you like a cookie, you will crave it more the next time you want a cookie. So the next time you want to watch screens, you will want to crave more screen time than the previous time. This is a dopamine rush that's having in your brain, and it always is the main reason of addiction, particularly screen addiction. So now we can see it comes back to this question: how much screen time is too much for young children so that they don't get addicted? There's a table being given by the World Health Organization. They recommend that 1 to 2 years old should not have any independent screen time. And even if they have any supervised screen time with their parents or caregivers, it should be less than an hour. For 2 to 5 years old, they are allowed to have non-supervised and supervised screen time for 1 hour as well. So why the World Health Organization wants to put in this suggestion is because that they have realized that screen time is actually a form of one-way communication with the screens. It's not a two-sided communication, meaning there is no language interaction. Please imagine yourself now talking with someone. When you talk with each other, you are exchanging language. And this is a two-sided communication, which is healthy for humans. But for a one-sided communication like watching screens, it's best to limit them, especially for young children. Now, when your children is addicted to screens, especially this one-sided communication with screens, they will have some detrimental effects on them. Let us look at the early symptoms of screen addiction. First, they will throw tantrums when screens are removed. It means that they do not have their self-control anymore. Secondly, they love to switch rapidly between several activities, including books, toys, and screens. It means that when parents or caregivers allow them to have different kinds of activities at the same time, they will love to watch the screens and then change to coloring books and then change to playing with their toys in a very short time. And this constitutes too short attention span. That's very common in young children. Now, thirdly, is that they cannot concentrate in talking with adults. This is also another symptom of short attention span in children. And a lot of times, watching screen time for a prolonged time will support this kind of short attention span. Now, after we understand the very negative effects of screen time addiction, what we must do? We must learn how to curb these negative effects. And the best way is to be a screen coach. Now, I'm going to show you some rules over here. A lot of times when parents, they want to stop their children from watching screen, they'll give some rules like no screens before bed, no screens during mealtime. And when I say no, means no. I'm sure all of you might have some similar experience in having these rules at home as well. These might have some effect. It may work in your case. But of course, these are very traditional ways and it might not apply to stubborn children. Now, I would like to provide a better suggestion for you that actually helps to, to motivate these children to regulate their own screen time. Now, we can look at the first step, that is to be purposeful. Whenever you are watching screen times or watching screens with your children, you can be purposeful by saying, I want to watch this YouTube video because I want to learn ABC songs. That is stating out your purpose very clearly. And this a lot of times allows us to be clear of our objective and not blindlessly watching screens. Now, secondly, we can plan our family screen time. What does it mean by family screen time? It means we put screen time into family time. Take a look at this picture. Basically, we can draw one big circle, and we can segregate the time to own time and family time. What does it mean by own time? Own time, it means the children's alone time. They can write down activities like playing Legos, drawing, meal time with themselves, or even have nap time. Now, why children must write their own time with their parents? It's because it lets them to identify which times are the times that they are alone, and they can find different kinds of activities that they can put into their alone time. And when it comes to family time, we can do some activities, for example, TV time, sports, baking, story time, and some hugs and kisses, which is affection time. Why we want to put screen time into family time? There is some very good reasons in this action. Let me show you. There are few benefits of putting screen time in family time. First thing is family time ends. When families are watching screens together and they want to stop the screen, they can say, oh, now it's the end of family time. It's time to go to bed. If we want to watch screens again, we can wait for tomorrow's family time again. That will help children to understand better and to let them be more motivated in regulating their own screen time. Now, secondly, is the sense of autonomy. When you put screen time in family time and you plan and discuss it with your family members, it allows the children to actually have a sense of autonomy. It means a sense to make their own choices. And they are able to make choices to put their playing Lego time into their alone time. Or if they want to spend time with their family in playing Legos, they can put it in family time as well. Now, the third reason or the third benefit is that they can spend their time on things they love. It's allowing them to pursue their passion. For example, if children love to bake and they want to put baking time in family time as well, then they can initiatively pursue their passion and ask mommy to put that time into family time. So now we all know how to be screen coach in planning our family time. I really encourage everyone who has children at home to always learn to be a screen coach. Be purposeful and plan your family screen time if you have children at home. Now, what we want at the end is we want children to not think these screens are devils, but to have a healthy relationship with them. When I mean healthy relationship is we understand that they know how to stop screen time when their screen time is over. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching my presentation and see you. Bye-bye.